Good evening, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this evening for quite a while, so thank you very much for having me. Just to introduce myself quickly, my name is Brian, but I record music under the stage name Winds of Light, as you can see on this sign here. A lot of people get confused. They think they're hiring a band, but it's just me. I record a lot of my music in my home studio, so if you'd like to hear what the studio version of the songs I'm going to play tonight sound like, you could scan this really handy QR code on that poster, which is why it's there. To be honest, I didn't know if I was going to make it tonight. I have 2 young kids at home. They were really sick all the time, like daycare and stuff like that. I think there's been like 5 sicknesses since the beginning of September. And a couple weeks ago, I got like laryngitis or something like that, completely lost my voice. And I was starting to panic because late last week it hadn't come back. Then my speaking voice came back, and then my singing voice came back, but not the upper register. So I started sounding like Leonard Cohen and thought, like, am I going to have to pivot into playing like a whole set of Leonard Cohen songs? But luckily it started coming back over the weekend, and it's mostly back. So I'm curious to see if it'll last 2 hours tonight. But I think tonight is also, being grateful of the things that we tend to take for granted in life, like speaking. So I'll be playing 2 sets tonight. The first one is going to be made up primarily of songs off an album that I released earlier this year called Newcastle Park. Once again, it's available if you scan that code there on that poster. It's a very autobiographical album. It's a lot of songs about memories I have from when I was younger, growing up in the 90s, people that have really contributed to who I am today, events and stuff like that. And the second set's going to be made up of newer things that I'm working on and a couple covers here and there. So the first 3 songs I would like to play tonight are about old friends of mine. The first one is called Left Behind.
Please come back into my life, I'll always follow. I met you and your smiling face so long ago. I thought that the way that it was then was how I was always gonna be. But I lost you across time somehow, for that I'm sorry. You got left behind, all alone. Your tears lost in the flow of time across the years. Please come back into my life, tell me about your sorrows, and share with me what made all those years feel so hollow. I thought that the future we saw then was one we'd always see, but I lost you across time somehow, for that I'm sorry. You got left behind, all alone with your fears. Lost in the flow of time across the years. Left behind for a year back in time, but you came back to me like it was meant to be. When the future seemed bleak, You were there week by week. Through my melancholy, you were right next to me. But I lost you again. Yeah, we could not maintain that bond we had built. Now I'm haunted by guilt. But until the end we will always be friends, and I'll always be here if you need me near.
Thank you. It was a song about an old friend of mine. We met in kindergarten. We came up together in school. And I mean, do kids still fail classes and like fail years in school? Like, you know, yeah, okay. Yeah. Because that was a big thing when I was younger. I mean, a lot of my friends got left behind. The name of the song, right? But so this friend of ours, he got left behind the 5th grade. So when we went to the 6th grade, he stayed in the 5th grade. But it wasn't so bad because in the school I was in, we had split classes. So he was still in my class when I went to the 6th grade. But then when we all went to high school, you know, Quebec in 7th grade, he got left behind. But then we found each other again in high school. But then when I finished high school, he got left behind. So it was like a series of him just constantly being left behind and having to manage losing his friends. And he was there for me during a really difficult period of my life when I was younger. And then eventually we sort of lost touch. And a funny development is I hadn't heard from him in maybe 7, 8 years. And out of the blue, he sends me a message over the summer and he says, "Hey, I listened to your album." He doesn't know a song on there is about him. Yeah. So he says, "Hey, I listened to your album." He had started some music magazine sort of blog kind of thing and he wanted to feature my music. So he did. And then we were able to reconnect via an album that has a song about him on it. So I thought that was kind of a funny story to tell. You never know what can happen, right? So the next song I'd like to play is also about an old friend of mine. And it's very reminiscent of, you know, summers in a quiet town, very much like this one. I grew up in a town maybe half hour north of Montreal called Boisbriand. It's a very suburb of Montreal, kind of small, sleepy town. And this is a song about an old friend and the time we spent in that town. This is called Hometown. Meet you at your house one summer day. We take a walk about 5 minutes away to the video store, pick up some cards and sit and open them in your front yard. We could sit in your living room where we play games all afternoon. The summer sun, we spend time outdoors, and your art is laced with blood and gore. Oh, to be young and carefree again, to feel the things that we felt then. We will be back, we don't know when. We will be back in our hometown again.
same path to school, where imagination was our crowning jewel. In the neighborhood where we both grew and hung out with our brothers too. We yelled things out behind the teacher's back, and we both laughed, proud of our craft. We're disrespectful little shits, but pass the blame off on some kid. Oh, to be young and carefree again, to feel the things that we felt then. We will be back, we don't know when. We will be back in our hometown again. We'll then go back to that place where trees they flash and monsters chase. Walking distance to the shops where bus drivers make sudden stops. We'll visit once in a blue moon, and as I write this, we'll go soon. Jump in my car and head on down. Not much has changed in our hometown.
Thank you. There's a lot of songs about old friends tonight, so bear with me. This next song is also a song about an old friend. I found myself in this zone of just kind of writing about old relationships and friends as just fodder for songwriting at some point. And this is another song that I'm working on now. I might include it in a future album. It doesn't really have a concrete title yet. It's just about my friend who happened to be a redhead, so it's currently called Redheaded Boy. I didn't know what else to call it. But this is how it goes.
Red-headed boy, don't you know? The blue skies above, the river below. With a pocket full of change and a head full of dreams, we bike around town as the sunlight streams. You don't listen to your mom, you forget your sunblock. You look like a lobster, walk down the sidewalk. Red-headed boy, do you recall? Dressing up as ghouls late in the fall. You like making fires and color as your hair, deep in the park in the smoky air. Adventure awaits, we'll hop in the fence, daredevil actions and no consequence. But time goes on. the years have gone. The 90s, they melt away, and I wish that they would stay. What does the future hold? How will those years unfold? Will they be dark and cold? We'll wait and see how it will be. Oh, red-headed boy, do you remember playing in the snow in December? We're both off from school, we spend time outdoors, we're bundled up tight and making snowfalls. When Christmas time comes, you don't get many things, but I'll share with you what this day may bring. Oh, red-headed boy, do you remember long lazy days in that final summer? We're sitting together in the evening's glow, playing old games we thought we'd outgrown. You share with me that you don't think that I'm cool enough to keep round next year in high school.
It's a true story.
But time goes on. We wonder where the years have gone. The 90s, they melt away. I wish that they would stay. What does the future hold? How will those years unfold? Will they be dark and cold? We'll wait and see how it will be.
Thank you. Do a little tune up here. This guitar is notorious for going out of tune when I move this capo around, so. Yeah. I think we all had one friend like that, right? The next couple of songs I'd like to play are also off my album Newcastle Park. These ones are more about family. And the first one I'd like to play is very much a song about my grandfather, memories I have of spending time at his apartment, and all things attached to those memories. So the next one is called Virtue Hill.
The early morning came fast. The blackened sky so vast. Before the sun rose, the sky painted with snow. It's coming down so calm. It's melting in my palms. Everyone's sound asleep. Everyone's still counting sheep. But then you woke me up. You put me in a truck with no sound in the air. When I feel so bad, out onto the highway, a half hour away, over the twisting bridge, atop the frigid ridge. After the leaves fall, walking down dark halls, Virtue Hill stands tall. Across the field so bare, I see you standing there, breathing the winter air. The lights know our shoulders wear. But then you left us there, the apartment square. The sun began to rise onto a purple sky. And walking through the doors onto the carpeted floor, the elevator comes down fast. The door is the last. And then I ring the bell. The food and coffee smells. I see you sitting there in your ancient chair. Into the den we squeeze, the wallpaper trees, stuck in the 70s, escape the winter freeze. After the leaves fall, walking down dark halls, Virtue Hill stands tall. Across the field so bare, I see you standing there, breathing December air. The lights know our shoulders wear. Across the sky, the years they flew, and I'd visit you about twice a year. The time dragged on, then you were gone, and I felt so sad. But I remembered you. You told me to return to the earth.
Thank you.